Hello everyone, welcome back to Neutralix. I'm your host Kozlix, and today I'm teaching you how to play Scythe in Brawlhalla for 2024. Without further ado, let's get right into this. The first thing, if you want to improve at Scythe, is to subscribe to Neutralix because this channel has so many videos to help you improve at Brawlhalla. And if you want some personal coaching from me or any of the others here at Neutralix, check our website. The link to that is down below. Also, I'm just going to say, I main Lance, but I can easily hit Brawlhalla with Scythe. So I'm going to show you the basics and what you need to know to really master this weapon. The first thing I'm going to say is this weapon is super creative. It's a string heavy weapon, so there's not a lot of true combos. There's a couple niche true combos. We're not going to go over them that much in this video because they're not going to help you absolutely master Scythe. If you're gold, plat, or diamond trying to hit Valhalla, you don't need to know these niche true combos, but there are a lot of videos. I'll link them down below. But really, Scythe is a creative string heavy weapon. So there's a lot of strings you can go for, and I really advise go into training room, turn show damage on, show stun on, hitboxes on, hurtboxes on, item spawning off, give yourself a Scythe, then switch tabs, go to the bot, damage reset on, position reset on, and I set the timed. And this way, you can kind of, hit this bot and they're going to respawn in the center. And the fun thing with Scythe, and this is what I did when I was getting good, is just have fun and maybe create your own combos. There's a lot of things you can kind of do, like there, the bot's going to jump, so maybe you go for a recovery. Maybe you dare into end light and there, into down light, into dare. You kind of see what I'm doing here. There's a lot of stuff happening. Because there's so many strings. Scythe is so creative and fun. So the first thing that you should do is just play around with Scythe and see what flows into what and when. So for instance there, I didn't go for dare end light, even though I could if you hold a little bit forward. Maybe a little bit later in health, you can change the healths and whatnot to kind of do some stuff. Maybe you go into a down light. And you see how these all have dodge windows. They're not true. Scythe, the goal is to make your opponent not have a dodge, and then you go for these kind of strings. So you kind of just want to get them dodging. We're going to be talking about how to get that a little bit later, but for now, again, just have fun, go for these strings and just warm up. This could be a great warm-up routine. You can kind of create your own combos, get creative, and have fun at the end of the day. Once you're kind of comfortable and you know what all the moves do, then go into this next step. I'm just going to verify all the moves. Side light is a good string starter, leads into neutral light. And there's also, if you don't know, there's active input. What that is if you hold forward with the side light, it sends them forwards. And if you let go, it sends them upwards. And this also happens later in health. So let's say you want to kill this Ezio, you go forwards. They're not going to die in this position unless they're really, late in health. But if you let go, they go upwards. Let me actually turn my controller on just to show you. Cool. So as you can see, forwards, they go forwards. And if you let go, they go upwards. And we're going to be talking about the other moves. So same thing with downlight. You let go, goes backwards. You hold forwards, it goes forwards. And the forwards one has more force. So if you want to kill off stage, you go for the forward one. But if you want to string, you go for the backwards one. And there's a lot of ways to continue this, You can jump Sair, that's pretty tight. You can chase dodge Nair, even though I misinputted it. You see, that's pretty tight. Kind of have fun with it. So just play around, see which strings are tighter than others. See what the tighter ones are going to be more consistent when your opponent doesn't have a dodge. Like this one is 3 dodge frames is what I hit it to. 2 dodge frames. So if your opponent doesn't have a dodge, that's probably going to hit. There's a lot of some tight strings, but I'm going to show you the tightest ones shortly. Let's go over the next move. So there's neutral light. This is like an anti-stack tool, kind of. If they're near you, it's kind of see how it picks up stacked. Stacked is inside your own hurtbox. As you can see, the hitbox is inside my hurtbox. This hitboxing is crazy, so abuse this option. And light's also just a really fast move in general, so just really good. And it leads into Nair at 1 dodge frame consistent. So this is kind of, end light Nair is the best thing you're going to want to go for on Scythe. Luckily, side light goes into end light, but it's at 2 dodge frames. So again, you need dodges. This might work if you're in gold, but once you get to gold and plat, people are going to start dodging out of this consistently. So again, dodges are really important. We're going to be talking about them very, very soon. Let's talk about the aerials. So Sair is a good horizontal, killing option. Although it's also a string starter, more in white. You go into downlights, whatever. Everything's a string starter in white, basically. Sair's just a good horizontal option. Really, really good. Let's talk about the active input option. So there's down air. You can send it forwards, or you can send it backwards. Both are string starters. really good options. The forward one does have more force. The backwards one has a lot less force, especially off stage. And it can go into a Sarah and yada yada, really anything. Again, have fun. And it's the same thing with the neutral air. You can go forwards, it goes upwards that way, or you can go backwards and it goes horizontal. And you can like chase dodge if you want to, you know. The nair sending backwards sends really far away. And you don't have a lot of great momentum, so you're going to want to like chase dodge to cover low, or maybe you're going to want to chase dodge recovery to cover high. It's a lot of these, again, reads and strings. We're going to talk about this more, but just have fun with it for now. Learn those basic attacks, create your own combos. And now this is the string I want to go over that you guys need to know. So we talked about N-Light Nair already. However, Nair Sair, that option is actually true depending on your stats. I don't know the exact stats you need. I believe it's dex dependent. I think you need 6 dex. I'm going to say on the screen right now the conditions for this combo because I don't remember them off heart. It also depends on defense of your opponent for some reason. But you can see here, I'm getting this thing to 2 dodge frames. You can get this true. So it's actually just like a really good option. And then you can kind of keep going. So once you end like Nair Sair, you can Nair again and then like recovery. And that's pretty tight in itself. That's like a really good damage buildup if they have no dodge. So there's so many of these strings. You probably creatively found a bunch of them. There's a bunch of strings tutorials on YouTube. You don't necessarily need to know specific ones. You can make your own, kind of have fun with it, and yada yada. However, they're all contingent on your opponent not having a dodge. So the most important thing on Scythe is getting good at reading and reacting. Specifically, I like reacting the most. So I'm going to teach you that first. What I like doing, you go to the bot settings, the training room settings. Then you go to dodge reaction. You set this into random. So anytime you land a hit, their bot is going to dodge randomly. So if you don't have a true combo, the best thing to do is watch your opponent, see how they dodge, and then cover it. They dodge up, I go for that, and then that's confirmed, and then they jump, but maybe the dare works if they don't jump. I end light, dodges that way, I almost covered it. End light, dodges that way, that was confirmed, he jumps. You see what I mean, right? You want to react to your opponent not having a dodge, and then capitalize on it. And you can like jump to change your positioning. He got his dodge back. You can do a lot of things like position yourself for that dodge. So that was confirmed, then he wasted the dodge again. And you can get into the habit of knowing when your opponent has a dodge and doesn't have a dodge. That's the most important thing on Scythe. You know, you dare, see what they do, and then react. End light, see what they do. That's confirmed. They got a dodge. Spot dodges. That's confirmed. Dodges again. One other thing you should keep in mind with Scythe is that when, and this is for every weapon, if your opponent touches the ground, they get the grounded dodge cooldown timer. So if I actually dodge on the ground and then I try and dodge again, you get it back about once every 1.5 seconds. But if you dodge in the air and then you try and get it back, it takes like 3 seconds. It's like double the length. So when you're trying to like get these dodge reads and whatnot, make a note. If your opponent touches the ground, they probably have their dodge again. It resets a timer if they touch the ground. So for instance, let's say I end light. He touched the ground, so he's going to have his dodge back if I hit one more. I think he touched the ground, oh, I dashed away. He touched the ground, so I hit that. And see how he got his dodge back there? And he's going to go up, and yeah. You can see what I mean, kind of knowing, do they have a dodge? Do they have a jump? Jumps have 2 dodge frame startups. Dodges have 0. Technically, it's 2 and 4, but we're going to call it 0 just to make things simple. Dodges are basically instant. Jumps have 2 frames to start up, so a lot of these strings, like that is 1 frame. It's not jumpable. So I'm going to set the spot to no longer dodge randomly. This end light nair, it says dodge window 1. That means your opponent cannot jump out of it. So try and prioritize the strings that are a bit tighter because they're more consistent to work. So like the nair, sair, nair, recovery, like that's 2 dodge frames. I don't know exactly how many the dodge window that you can get it to, but it's fairly tight. So it's more consistent to work if your opponent doesn't have a dodge. But let's say the string is like, that's 7 frames. That's probably not going to work, right? There was way more. That's why I jumped up. When it's not going to work, you can kind of expect that your opponent's going to jump, and then you can cover the jump option. What this does is it creates something called a 50-50. So I'll show you one more time. Let's say in this position. Right here, my opponent can do, it's really one of 3 things, but I call it a 50-50. Assuming that my opponent doesn't have a dodge, they can either go up, they can fast fall, go down, or they can do nothing. Doing nothing and going down kind of covers similar areas. So it's really a 50-50. Do they go down or up? And this is what Scythe's all about. You eliminate the dodge, and then it's just a 50-50. You kind of make a note, what does my opponent do? What does the average person do? It takes a while to really master this kind of judgment, but this is the like higher level of Scythe. If you want to hit diamond and whatnot, is learn all the attacks, learn some basic strings that I taught you today, and then get good at really recognizing when your opponent has a dodge and doesn't have a dodge, and seeing what do most people do in these 50-50 situations, and then adapting mid-match. What does my opponent do in these 50-50 situations? That's the essentials of Scythe at the end of the day. Other than that, playing neutral and everything is the same as every weapon. Scythe is really good because it has no dead zones. Take a look at this. Side light, horizontal. End light, stacked and diagonal. Down light, more horizontal range. Maybe it doesn't have a lot of horizontal range on Scythe, like diagonal horizontal range, but still, like, that's like very little dead zones. You have Nair, right? That can cover that. You have jump recovery. The only thing that can't cover is directly above on Scythe. But there are options in SIGs that can cover that. And it's not like this hitbox is basically directly above you. There we go. This hitbox is like basically above you. It kind of covers that. Same with like a jump recovery. And you can easily, if you have ground control, you can dash to be a bit more horizontal, and then you can hit these end lights and Sares and whatnot. So Scythe is just so well-rounded in that regard. So when you're playing neutral, right, you kind of have options for every situation. The only thing you don't have are these true combos. So knowing what flows into what is really important, and then just kind of practicing those, being creative, having fun combos. Then you go for dodge reactions. You can read people, knowing where they're going to go, predicting, reading jumps, etc. We've talked about this all already, but that's Scythe. Let me play an experimental game, and I'm going to show you everything we talked about in action. And once again, if you want a list of these really niche but really good combos and strings, I'm going to link some videos down below, and we're going to work on one here at Neutralix fairly soon. Let's play some Vortex. Okay, this is a Diamond, Arcadia, and Experimental. Could be Brawlhalla, you never know. Let's see how my Scythe plays into them. And you're going to see what works for me and what doesn't. We can see my own mistakes too, if we really want. Okay, so like, you know, it's just like any other match. We want to, you know, not lose neutral. Try and get the weapon. Great sword's hard to deal with. Okay, we're on Scythe now. There. No dodge. Going for the recovery. Dodged again. You see, I recognized no dodge, and I got a 3-hit because I just knew a string. Creatively. And you can see me going for these reactions a lot of the time. No dodge. No dodge. I'm kind of going to make a bit more of a mental note, but I'm just, you know, no dodge. I'm saying it vocally, so you guys hear what I'm thinking. And for a side light, they're horizontal. Oh, I just didn't get that. You know, I did the horizontal because I want to send them off stage. He had no dodge, so I went for that. We have gauntlets right now. Just going to get the kill. Gauntlets have a kill confirm. Why would I not go for that? It's okay to use 2 weapons. Like, Scythe doesn't have a kill confirm, so sometimes you could struggle, but... Oh, I almost got that reaction. Oh, you guys dodged back. That was bad for me. I kept track wrong, and that was a mistake. No dodge. Oh, I should have went hide, knowing that good players jumped that. And then no dodge, so I went for the ground pound, and it worked! So those are just fun strings that you can kind of practice yourself, see what works, what doesn't work, watch other Scythe players, see what they do creatively. No dodge. Oh, I almost got that. Went for a reaction there. Oh, I jumped that. If he didn't jump that, I would have died, because, again, no dodge. What are you going to do? Went for a reaction there. I just missed it. Shouldn't have dashed that much. And like, that almost worked. No dodge. Oh, I almost hit that end light. Almost got that reaction. It's a lot of going for reactions on Scythe. Almost got that reaction, would have killed. Hit the side light to send them off stage. Now I got no dodge. And I go for the ground pound. Because they have no dodge and they're below me. So, guys, that's how you play Scythe. It's a lot of keeping track of dodges. Going for some tight strings that work when they have no dodge. And having fun. This is a string heavy weapon, so have fun, guys. Let me know if this video helped. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next Neutralix video. Peace.